You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
ABC Tonight. The Bachelor is back, and everyone is falling for America's heartthrob, Joey Graziadei.
Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10.
He's taking another shot at love.
I am definitely ready to find my wife.
But will he find his perfect match?
I am freaking out.
I'm about to lose it.
There's something I need to know.
I'm done here.
I thought it would be easier.
The Bachelor premieres tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by the new true crime docuseries American Nightmare, only on Netflix. In 2015, the Vallejo, California Police Department received a strange phone call about a kidnapping. But when the truth is stranger than fiction, you won't know who to trust or what is real. A fast-paced true crime thriller with cliffhangers at every turn. Watch American Nightmare now, only on Netflix.
Hello, good citizens of the internet. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the ToneMob.com podcast, the guitar gear show for builders, users, abusers, and tone hounds of all stripes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today I have Ryan McCaffrey of McCaffrey Audio, overall good gent, and most importantly, the number one fan of Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band. How you doing, Ryan?
Yes. Good. How you doing, man? I like that intro.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I've been working on it. But
yeah, well, I'm guessing that you probably listened to the Wrestling Boot Band a couple of times. You've gone swimming with a buddy. You've been eating your vitamins.
I've been definitely.
All the above.
I have. I've been eating my vitamins.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a little backstory to that. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go ahead and tell it. I can't remember exactly how it started, but I believe it was 4th of July.
Oh boy. I think it was 4th of July, and I was in my usual Hogan self, listening to some jams, and I perchanced on the Instagram and saw a picture of the Hulk playing the red, white, and blue guitar, and I'm like, oh boy, this looks like it might be a similar stripe to us, and we went back and forth with some lyrics, and I think you were the one that actually said, oh man, we got to stop or we're going to be here for hours, and I think we talked serious for maybe 30 seconds. So
yeah, which I imagine is what this is going to be a lot like too. So
yeah, I normally don't have a lot of serious conversations. In fact, we just got back from Summer NAMM, and myself and my team members were joking around. Out of the 3, 4, or 5 days we were out there in Nashville, I think if we had 1 hour of serious conversation, that would be pushing it. So.
That sounds about right.
Keep her on the light side.
Yeah, for sure. That's the way to go.
Yabba dabba. Well, yeah, you ask away, and I'll try to answer the questions as best I can, and if I don't know it, I'll make it up. So.
All right, that sounds good. That's the way I go through life. So
wonderful.
So the first thing I was kind of wondering about, I was poking around on your website a little bit, and
cool.
You mentioned in the good old about section where
sure.
you spent your life kind of growing up around music, and influenced by that whole wonderful thing that we call music. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I guess quick down and dirty as possible. My dad's a guitar player. He started teaching me guitar when I was 6. I'm 34 now. And been trying to play ever since then. And I grew up around musicians. A lot of my dad's friends were in gigging bands and would constantly be out to shows watching them and trying to strum on guitar. And in the meantime, we had the old Pioneer turntable in the living room with those big Koss headphones. I don't know if you remember those at all. The big green ones.
Yes.
With the curly cord and everything, the 1/4-inch jack.
Love that.
Grew up. Oh man. I'm looking for a pair. So if anyone out there has a pair they want to part with, I think that would be nostalgic heaven. So, but grew up listening to vinyl. The Beatles, huge influence. A bunch of stuff. Wishbone Ash, Deep Purple, you name it. So I've been doing guitar and amp repairs for almost 11 years now. In a prior life, I was a firefighter paramedic for 15 years. Did that on my downtime. And about over 4 years ago now, I was going to purchase a Klon pedal. I used to have 2 silver Klons. And I looked on the gear page, and I saw that they were going from anywhere to $1,200 to $1,400 used. And I don't even know, what are they nowadays?
I think they're in the, well, I can't remember the silvers, but the golds are in the $3,000 neighborhood, and the silvers are not far behind. I mean, they're right in that neighborhood.
Oh my!
Yeah. It's crazy.
Now, would you spend that much money on a Klon?
I would like to think that I wouldn't.
Yeah. You answered very wisely, my friend. That's a good answer.
I really would like to think that I wouldn't, but it wouldn't stop the wanting. I probably wouldn't, just because I keep buying things. I've had a vintage Jazzmaster on the list for a long time, and I keep buying other things instead of that and depleting my Jazzmaster fund. So I need to knock that off so I can get my Jazzy.
Well, and I know you're like none of the rest of us gear hounds, gear whores, whatever you have it, and you're buying stuff thinking that you're gonna scratch that itch, and it's never gonna be scratched until you get what you desire.
Yeah, it's impossible.
And then three months from that. But I always wanted a vintage telly. And then you start looking at vintage tellies. And
well, I that was actually what the big one that derailed my Jazzmaster fund was a 74 telly custom. I just seen it. Me and my buddies. We were actually going shopping for the drummer for, ironically, his first real drum kit. He had been playing an electric kit, and so we were getting ready to go in and record our album, and we needed needed a real drum kit because that's what you need.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and I just happened to look on a local guitar store's website the morning we were getting ready to go. I'm like, oh, look at that Tele Custom, man! I like to go in there and play that thing. Not really thinking that I was gonna buy it, but bring the money just in case.
Well, you never know. Emergency might happen.
Yeah. And I played it. I got 3 guitar players in the band, and I played it, and the other 2 guys played it, and they're like, man, this thing is sweet. I'm like, I know, I really want it. And they're like, but the Jazzmaster. And then I went, I guess I'm getting this Telecaster.
Yeah. What it was probably like, what Jazzmaster, or you're probably already at the counter type thing. So.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But I do love that guitar, so I can't say I'm mad at myself for not, for doing that. But.
Oh man, that's clutch. All original and everything, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Everything's original. Still got that good old Seth Lover Wide Ranger in the neck, which I just fell in love with. That pickup, just love that thing.
Oh, I don't know if you've ever listened to Silverchair or not, but I remember Daniel Johns went through a phase where he was playing a guitar similar to that. I think it was that you said a Telecaster Custom or Deluxe. I'm sorry.
It's the custom. It's the single coil and the bridge and the.
Oh yeah, that's right. It has the single coil, and the Deluxe has the 2. What is it? Humbuckers or
they're
Buckers.
They're the 2 Wide Rangers. They all have Wide Rangers.
Yeah.
The Deluxe has it in both spots, kind of like the Starcaster and the Thin Line. And then the Deluxe has the big headstock.
Yes.
It's so good. So good.
Oh man, I love those huge headstocks. Oh man. Yeah, I mean they're all goodness. And if you find, obviously you found a good one from 74, that wasn't swimming in the poly and, the neck gap super huge, so that's awesome.
Exactly. Man. So
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, that's so that derailed me and then
yeah. Well, how long did that take?
As far as the build up,
couple minutes.
Just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Just
weird. We didn't even talk like that would happen, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I could talk about gear.
Well,
I'm guessing you could.
That's what we're all about. So that's fine.
You know it. So yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start talking about vintage guitars, but
yes, you did.
Go ahead. Yeah. Well, maybe. Just I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me.
I promise I won't.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. So anyway, where were we?
I think we left off on I don't know, but we Beatles influence was somehow we zagged into that. I'm not sure how, but that'll happen again.
Yeah.
It'll happen again.
Well, yeah, I think Harrison played one, right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that for 500. Yeah, so lots of Beatles vinyl, all that goodness, and just kept on keeping on, I guess. Oh, that's right. So I've been doing guitar amp work, for a number of years. Looked at the Klons. I saw the ridiculous price tag. I thought to myself,
"Oh, that's how we got there. How we got there."
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. See, look at a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. It's like it just takes a little bit for the hamster to get going in the head.
Yeah.
But so I thought, how hard, foolishly, I said to myself, how hard can it be to build a pedal? I can solder in pickups, I can do fret work, put some tubes in an amp, all that kind of stuff. Well, a couple of years later, and I think I got an LED to come on, and I got the 1/4-inch jack in there, and maybe it made some scratch noises, but so I got the first pedal working, and after that it was just like, oh boy, I can make pedals, so it was strictly hobby, and I did it on my 24 hours off, so I worked a 24-hour California swing. It's called 24 on, 24 off.
Gotcha.
And then, how it goes. It's the same old song and dance, I guess. Hey, can you build me one of those? Hey, can you repair this? Hey, can you mod that? And I kind of came to that crossroads where it was like, geez, this could actually be a business. And little did I know that running a business is so much more than just building pedals and enjoying the gear. In fact, I think I play guitar maybe once a week, twice a week. So it's kind of weird how that works out. But
yeah, I can totally hear that. What I just started wondering, what was that first pedal that you actually built?
The very first one, believe it or no, was a Klon.
Oh, okay.
Clone.
There you go.
Yeah. So I tell you what, I trashed so many pedal boards. I mean, so I would buy circuit boards. I would do all sorts of weird, like putting butter and sugar into pedal. I mean, all sorts of stuff. You're not. I did it, but lo and behold, I got something working, and then I went. It was like this huge wah pedal kick. I was building a bunch of wahs, and then of course fuzzes. It seems like a lot of builders, including myself, because they're pretty simple circuit wise. So, and now I build pedals that the noise comes out, and hopefully it's pleasing to the ear, and que sera, and so on and so forth. So
that's very cool. So I was always curious about the Klon circuit, because I have no experience with actually building. Well, I shouldn't say no. Very little experience with building anything. And
Sure.
I know that the Klon is the classic goop circuit, right? That's the kind of one of the ones.
Yes.
How did everyone start figuring out? Because I'm like, I'd see that and go, well, I can't. It's.
Yeah. You and me both. Like, well, the end.
Yep.
So. I don't even. I guess I don't even know. I know a brief history of the pedal and the designer and so on and so forth. But I'm guessing someone published, here is what I'm thinking the schematic's doing. The schematic got out somehow. I mean, nowadays it's like you can, if you went on Google and typed in Klon schematic, you'd have millions of images pop up and layouts and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's now, is it exact? I guess we'll never ever know because there's magic in there or what have you.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I have a Klon clone on my board. I forget the maker of it. I apologize, but it is the closest thing I have played yet to date that sounded like my silver ones that I had years back.
What?
So they're getting pretty darn
Right.
good.
Is it the J Rocket?
Yeah.
The Archer?
No, actually, no, and that is like, man, that thing is going crazy right now.
It is.
People are. Yeah, I tell you what, there is science and obviously behind that. Like, you can put out a pedal that's like, the latest, greatest, boy, this is the shiny overdrive pedal that no one's ever heard before. But you put out a pedal with an aluminum enclosure and brown Davies pointers knob and, put like some sort of mythical creature on it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's same with tube screamers or our 0 to 60 is. I hate saying it. It's not a tube screamer, but the circuit at the base of it is a screamer.
Right.
You know what I mean? But even myself, I see J-Rocket's ads in Premier Guitar and whatnot, and I find myself looking at it like, oh well, I wonder how it sounds. Like I wonder how much they are.
They're not that bad as far as price goes. I think they're pretty normal drive, but I do want one, even though I haven't played it.
I was gonna ask you, have you played? And what about? Have you ever? I've never played the Soul Food. Have you played one of those?
Soul Food is great. It really is. It's not. It's
interesting.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. To me, it doesn't do as good of like the breakup thing. Like when you get a clon that's actually like breaking up itself instead of using it as the clean boost, which a lot of people do. The Soul Food doesn't really sound clon-esque in that kind of way, but the clean boost portion of it sounds great. I think it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Soul Food has a good drive sound, but it's just not to me what the clon sounds like.
And I'm guessing they can't be that expensive. I mean, if you'd go buy a Soul Food from whatever, a store or online.
Oh, they're like $60.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no wonder why they're crazy.
Yeah.
And I know Josh was modding those things, and maybe he still
is. Yeah. Josh with JHS.
So, yeah. And I don't know what maybe he'll give me one of those, or I think he's mad at me again, but I don't know. Maybe we can get one from him.
Oh, what'd you do?
I don't know. He's just I like messing with Josh a little bit, and I'll send him text saying, "I'm sorry you're so mad at me," or I'll send him crazy pictures, and I finally got him sending me crazy pictures back. But no, I tell you what, he's a great guy.
Nice.
He was definitely one of the guys that helped me during my formative years, and even to this day, I can still reach out to him. So
well, that's great.
Yeah. So
I've had several of his pedals on my list for a while, and I haven't grabbed any of them yet, just because, well, I get derailed with something else. It's not for any real reason, but I just keep getting derailed.
Now you're telling me you get derailed from something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't believe this. I'm not.
You're not buying it?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. What were we talking about? Yeah.
Squirrel.
Shiny quarter. So you've never had a JHS pedal?
No, I have not, and I feel like I'm probably one of the few and far between. And it's not because I don't have access to them. They're at my local shop.
No.
I just haven't done it.
That is a funny story. I asked Josh jokingly about a week ago. I said, "Hey, send me an Angry Charlie," thinking he was messing around with me or whatnot. Well, he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll send you an Angry Charlie," and so I was like, "Well, what do you want of ours?" And we sent him off a 0 to 60.
Mm-hmm.
We just got the Angry Charlie today at the shop, and it is the very first JHS pedal I've ever owned. And I even texted him. I said, "Hey, thanks, man. Fun fact of the day, this is the very first pedal I've ever owned by you." And it's pretty slim.
Nice.
It's a good pedal.
Very cool. Yeah, the ones of his that I've really wanted. Well, originally the Panther Cub was high on my list.
Yes.
And then I got derailed. Got derailed, like I keep talking about. With a Solid Gold Effects Electroman, which is not the same thing, but it has some of the same features that I really liked. And that one just happened to be. I actually went to my local store, Old Town Music here in Portland, with the intent of purchasing a Panther Cub because I knew they carried JHS, and they didn't have one. And the gas was strong, and I needed a delay. A delay pedal that I could mash a switch and make a racket with, and that had an effects loop. And I was like, "Oh well, Solid Gold has the Electroman right there. I better just get that one." And
well, of course,
it is an amazing delay. It's different, but totally different. It's a digital.
Sure.
What's that? The PT2399 or whatever
Yep.
delay.
Yep.
But man, they
see, you know stuff about electronics. You just whipped off the circuit chip
but
there.
that is, the extent of it.
There you go.
Well, if Chris Benson from Benson Amps listen to this, he'll laugh because I was talking to him about something, and I sent him a block diagram.
Okay.
And I called it a schematic.
Well, it's like musical. No, I don't know how to read a lick of music, so you can just draw some stuff on there, and it's good to go, right?
Yeah, he was like, like, yeah, that's not what I need. I'm like, oh, what do you need? He's like, I need a schematic. I'm like, well, that looks like, it's got stuff on it that is electrical and it's on paper. Isn't that what a schematic is?
Yeah, good enough. I mean, gee, what do you want from me?
It doesn't help that it was also in French.
Well, jeez, I mean, bakers can't be choosers, I'm guessing, but
no, yeah.
Oh boy, there are times I'm even. It's like I don't claim to be a master of anything, but if I'm working on a schematic, say we're getting like a final design, so we can get beta product and stuff like that, and I still have to look, like, okay, how do I draw the double pull, double throw switch again?
Right.
Oh boy, and I'm sitting there doodling cats and stuff like that, and Jacob, one of my team members, will yell at me, But so anyways, the PT2399, and I always hate calling it digital because we're even working on some delay prototypes that we're actually in version 5, so we're almost going on a year and a half. I've been working on this layout. And I mean, this thing sounds analog, like the note decay and everything is, super lo-fi.
Cool.
But you know what I mean? Because it has the PT2399.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and what did you think about the solid gold effects? Did it scratch the itch?
It did. Oh man, I
Nice.
love that thing so much.
And you still have it?
Oh yeah, I still have it.
Well, there you go.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I not only do I purchase too much gear, I don't get rid of it.
Are you married?
I am.
Now, what in the world? I just asked our main man Arnold from Vintage Guitar the same thing. Like, he's telling me about this Strat that he got, a 61 or a 62. I'm like, dude, are you married? Yeah, and he is. I'm like, what the heck?
Well,
like, how are you guys doing this?
Well, here's the secret. This is the secret, or this is my secret.
All right.
First of all, I'm the one with the full-time job.
Well, there you go.
And I take care of all the bills.
Perfect.
And you just hope that when you die, that your wife doesn't sell your guitars for what you told her they cost. That's
well, yeah.
That's what you hope.
No, there you go. You got a couple of strong points, and it sounds similar. I have a friend here where I live, and he's, I don't know, 65, 66. He's been buying, gear long before we were born.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all these old Telecasters.
Oh.
I'm like, I said, Archie, doesn't your wife, ever say, what the heck are you doing? He's like, no, I just keep using the same case when I bring new guitars in the house. I'm like, holy.
Oh, man.
Gee,
There's another trick.
So you don't let her go downstairs? Or?
There's another trick.
What's the deal?
Oh, there's another trick that I have for everybody. I actually had to... if you can build a separate room outside your house, now you can just kind of migrate stuff back and forth, and it just looks the same from the back porch window. It all looks the same. So there's another secret. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, the secret's out, and they'll probably find the tunnel and everything that you got. I'm envisioning this a shack, and then there's an underground tunnel, that you transfer gear to and fro. But well, maybe I should get digging one of these days.
Hey, it's not a bad way to go. It took me a little while to get the shack erected, but that's the Tone Mob headquarters now. So it's.
I like it. Hey, it kind of sounds like McCaffrey audio. There's a bum living in the shop, and we got wild animals running around. Hulk Hogan, we have it on vinyl, so it just keeps skipping. And
on vinyl, man, that's killer. It don't get any better than that.
I wish. No, I think we have Ozzy Osbourne, Speak of the Devil, Diver Down, Band on the Run, and Devo on vinyl in the shop right now.
Oh, Devo. Now you're talking.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, and that was a Goodwill buy. I couldn't believe it. I got it for $1. I'm like, holy cow.
Hey, there you go.
Rock and roll, so. Yeah,
all right, I got another subject for us to get derailed on.
I'm loving it. What do you got?
What's your favorite, or not your favorite, but your current guitar rig look like?
Oh boy. And usually that's ever changing. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can. Well, no, maybe you can't relate. You got the shack built and a tunnel full of guitars and amps and pedals and. But the current rig, I'm actually sitting in the home headquarters right now at my desk in the basement, and I'm looking into my music room. I have a PRS SE30 head that I've modded, and I got vintage glass in it. I got in a vintage glass kick about a year or two ago, and oh boy, that's another rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my goodness. And that's going into an Avatar 212, oversized with vintage 30s. I have a 2002 Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 in Seafoam Green.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that amp is just so good. And that's loaded with vintage glass. I got Telefunkins in the preamp, and then I have I think it's Mullards or Tunsil's, I forget, for the EL34s.
Okay.
And then I have a Fender Princeton, the Custom 68 series.
Yes.
Have you seen? That's a pretty good amp. This is the second one I've owned. In fact, we had it with us at the NAMM show. And the only thing I did to it is put vintage glass in it. Other than that, it's stock. And then my pedal board at the moment is I have an Earthquaker Devices. Everyone's got to have an Earthquaker.
Yes, you do.
Pedal. I have the Arrows. I have Josh's Angry Charlie on there. I have a full tone Mini Deja Vibe. I think that's like my 10th one that I've owned. Where I don't know. I think we talked about it. We're releasing release the Run Rabbit Run Vibe.
Oh,
so
we haven't talked about that, but I was going to bring it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, gosh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Now the party's spoiled. So I've been just listening to a bunch of vibes, messing around with them, and then I have the Clone. My go-to guitar, I have a couple of Gibson custom shop Les Pauls, a 1980 Gibson ES347. I have a couple Strats. I have a Temple 52 Telly. But my go-to guitars lately, we have the company has a Mira S2 in Seafoam Green.
Yeah.
And then I have a PRS S2 single cut semi-hollow. Man, that thing is freaking slamming. I'm loving that guitar.
I've heard nothing but good about the S2 stuff. I have not played one yet, but man. Everybody seems to be loving it.
It's like, and I'm sure you've had PRSs, I'm guessing, in the past.
Actually, I have not. Yeah, and it's not. There you go. It's just getting sidetracked. There yet again is the only reason I don't, because I've always wanted one.
This is kind of weird. This is no JHS pedals, no PRS. This is like, I used to work with a captain who's never had a Big Mac before, or barbecue spare ribs. I was like, man, this is bizarre. But
that is bizarre.
I'm like, I'm like, Eric, just have a Big Mac. And he's like, well, I've made it this long. Why would I eat one now? I'm like, touche.
Well,
I guess I don't have anything.
Yeah, there are better burgers, so I can't be like, it's the best ever.
Yeah, that you don't even have that argument anymore. So it's just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of PRSs over the years, and decent ones and really, really nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
Artists, 10 top, Santana One, you name it, type deal. And when I used to gig, before the business, humble to be doing great, and 4 kiddos, I would be so nervous. Like every time I'd gig with one of my nice PRSs, like I don't want to, someone to look at it wrong, and maybe something will happen to it. But the S2, it's like, it's whatever. I mean, it's still a nice guitar, and the pickups are made overseas. The top isn't carved, it's CNC'd.
Right.
And I thought I'm going to get this guitar. I'm going to rip out the pickups, the electronics, all that. Everything is stock. I mean, even the pickups, they use, I think they're CTS or Alpha Pots. It's a paper and oil Mallory cap. I mean, it's like, geez. So yeah, very, very impressed. And I would say go try one out, but then you're going to be one step further from the Jazz Master. So I don't want to be responsible for that.
All right. So you didn't say try one out. All right. I will
Yeah.
let the record
And
show
of
you
course
said
you
not
want
to try it out.
Yes. Please annotate that for the record. Yeah, so that's my current rig. Similar, or I mean, do you have a myriad of amps, or do you have a go-to?
I have I have several amps. I have my main one I got last winter, and it's my Benson amps Monarch.
Yeah.
That's my go-to these days.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check. I'm sorry to interrupt it, but when you said Benson amps, I'm so out of the loop these days. It's like I'm so focused on what we're doing, so I'm gonna have to check that out. It definitely sounds like a interesting guy, and
oh yeah, he's a super cool guy, and he makes great stuff, and the guts of it are just beautiful. I mean, the outside's beautiful too, but I mean, he's one of the only guys I know of. I'm sure there's other people doing it that he doesn't use a board. Period. No.
Oh man, that's crazy.
No turret board or anything. It's just all. He has these little tiny terminal strips, and then everything's just literally as point to point as it gets, and it's
that's all. I mean, the only other one that I know of, in my small view, is the Bad Cat that I got sitting in there right now. I mean, you don't see that a lot, so yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
And it's a kind of a unique. I mean, here again, I'm me with my electronics knowledge. When I was talking to him, it's kind of a unique. It's a unique circuit in that I asked him. Usually things are based on something, and so I asked him, "What is that based on?" And he says, "Well, about 5 different amps." So
yeah,
it's got this. It's
nice.
got this British and American switch on it. That
oh yeah,
down you get kind of more like Marshall chunky type stuff, and then up it's more your classic kind of scooped Fendery type sound. To me, it has the breakup characteristics really have a Supro type vibe to them.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the British
cool.
In the British section, it's still like Marshall-esque, but to me it's more Supro to my ears.
Yeah, nice.
And so he did a great job with that. And
so is he using? I mean, is there 2 different types of tubes, or is it just the voicing?
It's just the circuit voicing. He uses he gives you options. I picked the EL84s. He also uses 66s, which it's kind of whichever way you want to slant more. And I didn't really care. I just played a couple that were, I played a 66 and I played the EL84, and I liked them both, but I liked the EL84 one a little bit better, so that's what I had him do for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I mean, they're both, they both have their pros and cons. So I'm guessing it's a lower wattage amplifier as well, 18, 20, 30?
It's 15 loud ones. Yeah,
nice.
It's there. Yep. He loaded it up with a Jensen. Oh boy. Uh-oh. I just lost my brain apparently.
Just come on in. The water is fine. See, that's how I live.
It's an Alnico magnet. It's a 12-inch speaker. It is.
Is it that Blackbird or whatever?
No, it's a vintage reissue Jensen that they came out with, I think, in the last couple of years. Is it the P12N?
Oh man,
I think it's the P12N. I can't remember. I'll have to look when I get home.
No, and I always see some Jensen ads and whatnot. I know what you're talking about, like the vintage reissue stuff, and they look really, really nice. And I actually have some vintage Jensens, in the shop. I kind of got into amp stuff before, this went full time, and man, I mean, they look pretty period correct and everything, and I've heard nothing but good reviews.
I've dug this one so far, and I went and plugged a 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue into it, and instead of the whatever stock speakers those come with, which I think those are pretty decent sounding amps to begin with, but
likewise, yeah.
This Jensen speaker really made it stand out. I'll have to probably stick that in the show notes or something, because that's going to bug me.
Yeah, now you're going to be tossing and turning, thinking about it type deal. And yeah, and you know what? Actually, I got out of the habit. I'm going to derail it for a second. But
do it.
I'm going for it. A couple of months ago, the brain's always going. We're always thinking about something. I'm blessed to be working with a handful of individuals. I mean, we're always thinking of something weird. But I would be in bed, so I'd go to bed, and I'd get up, I'd wake up and I'd be thinking about does the blue wire go to the red wire, funny bone, head bone type of thing. And I would get out of bed and I would go eat a bunch of Oreos. And I've never done that in my life. I just don't get up out of bed once I'm already in bed. Go eat maybe I did that when I was in high school, it was still partying type thing, but I don't. But I kind of gave that up because it's kind of an expensive habit.
It is, and it's good for your diabetes and whatever else that you might.
The old diabetes.
Yeah, the diabetes.
Oh, oh boy, Wilford.
Oh
Brimley.
man, Wilford Brimley.
That guy looks like a walrus. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but I have seen the drawings.
Well, if I can ever get Colt from Walrus Audio on here, I was gonna ask him if his logo was inspired by Wilford Brimley, but
I've thought of those guys are another great bunch of guys, and we weren't too far from them at the Summer Dam show. And I was looking at their logo, thinking the same thing. Not is it Wilford Brimley, but I'm like, I wonder how they got the name Walrus Audio.
I don't know, but I do dig their logo.
It is cool, man. And they seem like another company. I even told them, I said, man, it's like you guys got a good thing going. It seems like you definitely got your stride, and but they've been around for a while. They've definitely paid their dues and what have you. And they make excellent products.
I want their bellwether so bad.
That is awesome. And now I love Bucket Brigade delays. I love them. And a couple of years ago, or maybe about a year ago, I was on this big Bucket Brigade, delay chip, delay build thing. And then it went away. We got to the PT2399, so we're bringing it all the way back around. And but now we might potentially be looking at Bucket Brigades again. But I want to do something a little bit different, because Walrus Audio, they make an awesome, from what I hear, tap tempo, all analog. Josh does as well. There's a lot of builders out there that make awesome tap tempo Bucket Brigade. So I'm thinking about maybe just putting one knob on there.
Oh boy,
and
getting nuts.
Putting a question mark next to it.
You decide what it does.
There you go.
You decide.
Yeah, it's kind of like a contest. If you can actually figure out what the knob does, then you get to name the pedal. Kind of.
Oh
sort
man,
of, so.
That ain't half bad. I can get involved in that.
Yeah, post a pic and like it, and call your mom, and have a piece of cake or some Oreos and win the prize. So
I like the sound of that. I would be up for weeks. Just what is it doing? What is it?
What is it? I probably wouldn't even turn it on for a while. I would just stare at it, like the little red button type thing.
Yep.
Don't push it.
Yep.
And then I might fall asleep and wake up and
eat some Oreos.
One of my eat some Oreos. One of my kids would probably be chewing one of my legs, and dog barking. But
yeah, for sure.
Jeez Louise.
Oh man, that's great.
All
stuff.
Right, yeah,
that's great stuff. We've segued into something I was gonna ask you, which is what kind of stuff you had in the pipeline. So you're thinking a delay. Obviously, you got that the vibe coming.
Yeah,
you want to talk about that vibe, since that's actually happening for sure?
Yeah. If you don't mind, that would be much appreciated. So the vibe, before I get, into my rabbit hole brain, that's something. So prior to McCaffrey Audio, the company was called RJM Effects, and then before it went, full time and like, hey, we're going to pretend to be a real company type thing and, really try this. Then we branded McCaffrey Audio. So when I was still RJM Effects, and it was really a hobby yet then, I had 13 pedals. Some of them morphed in, like the 0 to 60 was the E Overdrive, the Reactor was the Tight Line, and the Green Baca was the Green Baca. But one of those was a Vibe. I'm a huge Univibe fan. I love Univibes. Grew up listening to Hendrix as well, and love the rotary sound you can get out of them. So I started messing around with all these Vibe circuits. Initially, I went to the traditional, one lamp, and it has 4 photocells, so very period correct. I'm going to do it by the numbers.
Right.
And then at one point in time, I had the Dunlop Rotovibe pedal. Remember that?
Yes.
It was the red wall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It was an awesome sounding pedal, and I'm like, if it was only made a little better, or if it could do this, if it could do that, but I never knew how the thing ticked. I mean, this was years ago. And when I was messing around with circuits and whatnot, I found a layout where you could take each cell. So instead of having one lamp for 4 different cells, it's a 4-stage phaser. You could like separate each cell and get like a crazier sweep. You can get the classic vibe sound or the vibrato, I should say chorus vibrato. And I just started messing with that, and tons of variations. It was like, so this is almost 2 years that I've been messing around with the circuit. And then we added a bunch of different features, but the one that's been really people have been digging is the crazy switch, which will double your speed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it's like it was like one of those idiot savant moments. Like most of my designs, like I put a wrong capacitor or a resistor or a diode somewhere, and I turn it on. I'm like, why is it doing that? And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yep.
So it was truly one of those, like, oh my goodness, now it sounds like a ring mod. And you can actually tune the ring mod octave, whatever you want to call it, to whatever key you're playing in. So if you would hit your A string, you can tune the oscillation or the octave up sound of it to that key. So like think almost like Rage Against the Machine, how Tom Morello would use like the whammy?
Yeah, it was the whammy.
Pedal
Yep.
Yeah, and he'd get all those like crazy sounds, almost like that. And then you can hit the foot switch again, and you're back into normal vibrato or chorus land. So,
very cool.
Yeah, so 3 foot switches. And that was another thing. I wanted the chorus and the vibrato on a foot switch. I gigged for many years. A lot of the artists that we work with, the regular Joes like us, if I'm at a gig, I'm not going to, hold on, guys, I got to bend down here and flip the little toggle switch,
Right.
And just, hold on. So utilitarian, obviously. And then there's a three-way bass response switch. So when you take your depth back, you can add more low to it, so you're not losing the fullness of the effect, like a lot of vibe clones.
Okay.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not saying bad or good.
Just what happens.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that was actually recommended to us by another good friends of ours. Like, man, no, that's a killer idea.
Mm-hmm.
So. And the graphics, I mean, Jeff is our man, all things graphics and web. And I always call him a jackrabbit smoking methamphetamines. I mean, this guy, holy cow. I mean, he'll like every design that you see on our pedals, he's had like hundreds of concepts, and they're all smoking. And it's like, no, that's good. Oh, no, that's good. And he did just an awesome job with it.
Cool.
So.
Is this a bulb or an LED based?
Yep, these are LEDs. So each stage or phase or phaser
Mm-hmm.
is it's isolated with an LDR, so a light diode resistor.
Yes.
Am I saying that
Yeah.
right? Okay, very good. Hey, see, look at with an LED, a 3mm LED.
Gotcha. Okay.
So each stage is isolated. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
definitely excited.
that's very cool. A lot of people are gonna dig on that. Though it seems like there's like there's Univibe fans. I mean, there's Hendrix fans. Everybody likes Hendrix's tone. I've never met anyone that said, "Well, that guy's tone was okay."
Yeah.
And if,
what's he doing?
and if I did, I don't know. I'd have to not associate with them. But
It's probably one of those people that's like, you're like, so what kind of music you listen to? Oh, I like all of it. Like, hey, what? Okay, cool.
Right. So you like you could play them like a Cannibal Corpse record, and then maybe like Simon and Garfunkel, and they'd like them both.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I haven't heard that band name in a long time. Cannibal Corpse. Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're still around, and that guy still has a huge neck. So.
Well, it's funny you say that because actually my kids are in bed right now. That's what I have on their little CD player.
Nice.
Is Cannibal Corpse. It's Lullabies.
Of course.
Lullabies to Paralyze. But anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. So that I get what you're saying. Like, and I was one of those people too, where it was like when I looked at a vibe, be it a full tone or prescription electronics, whatever. Like I wanted it to nail Machine Gun and Breathe, and obviously our Run Rabbit is a play on words.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Floyd fan. So those were the sound in my head I was trying to achieve.
Gotcha.
And I'm guessing the other one was you were going to say like Craziness or.
Well, I went here again. I went off the deep end. I didn't go where I intended on going. I was just going to say that like. It seems like Univibe fans and Hendrix fans are generally one and the same. Like I like Hendrix, and I get down on Hendrix quite often, but I don't have to have a Univibe in my chain because I'm not that like super Hendrix fan. I guess you want to say.
Yeah, and that's you bring up an excellent point. I mean that's another thing. Like I love having a Univibe on my board, right? But obviously real estate is minimal these days. And like the Univibe can be one of those pedals that you use on 2 songs, out of 4 songs.
Right.
So it's like, what else can we do to this thing to make it like cover a lot of genres? It nails like some of the Incubus stuff, like I was talking about Rage, early Pumpkins, like on Gish and stuff like that, where they're using, the small stone phaser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, so you can cover like a wide ground with it.
That's awesome. That's I think that's becoming more and more important to people these days. I mean, everybody wants the biggest board until you start packing it around. And
yeah, that's. I mean, oh man, we've had. If I even had like a half a cent for how many debates we've had in the shop on mini pedals, And another thing I was before I derail it, another thing I was gonna say is like, I know me personally, like I don't have a lot of money, I'm not lighting the old cigars with the hundreds.
Right.
So if I'm gonna go spend $200 on a pedal, I want it to have a ton of options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to get the bang for my buck. I want it to be an excellent pedal. I don't want to put something in between my 74 Telly and my Benson amplifier. That's gonna suck. You know what I mean? It's like, why would I spend $200 on something that's gonna make those 2 pieces suck? So I want it to be damn good, and I want it to be super utilitarian. So
right. Yeah, user friendly, lots of features, and sound great.
Yeah,
that's
that's a big one. Not to sound like a salesman, but that's huge. We have it written up in the shop. All we have is whiteboards. Like our walls are whiteboard, dry erase board.
Right.
And that's even written up somewhere. It says, KISS, like keep it simple, stupid. But like Max, another one of my team members, he loves to like, switch toggles and mess with, he's got like Strymons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He loves messing with stuff. So it's like, what's the good balance between plug and play and tweakables? So
yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people that kind of get overwhelmed with. I mean, obviously Strymon's doing quite well, and their stuff is awesome. But I've heard a lot of people get intimidated by their stuff, and I can totally understand that. It just
big time. And I forget what I had. Who makes the Nova delay?
That is TC Electronic.
Yeah, it was an awesome. I mean, this was a few years back, but it was an awesome delay. But that's exactly what would happen. I'd be like, all right, well, there's numbers and stuff flashing at me, and I just want to slap back, echo,
Right.
and, before I know it, like the spaceship is launching out of my basement, and it's like, what the frick, what do I do? So
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm gonna keep it simple because I'm not that smart, so I got to go with that.
Yeah, mine changes with the wind. I got, I never know what kind of mood I'm gonna be in. Sometimes a one knob, and sometimes I need 37 knobs and 12 faders. It all depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah, and it's the same with amplifiers too. It's like I go through those phases with amps. Like, oh, I want a Dr. Z with 3 knobs, and then I want whatever, a VHT with 100 on there or something. It's like, so I don't know. I guess we'll never be happy. Well, unless I'm eating Oreos at 2 a.m.
Hey everybody, we did have a small technical glitch there, but not a big deal. The show does go on. But I figured this was a good opportunity to tell you about a upcoming giveaway that we are doing with Rogue Guitar Shop and McCaffrey Audio, in which we are giving away 1 Green Vodka Big Muff Fuzz by McCaffrey Audio. And yeah, the contest officially launches on Instagram Friday, August 21st, 2015. However, for you podcast listeners, we're going to go ahead and give you a chance at an extra entry. That's right, an extra entry. All you got to do is go to tonemob.com/greenvodka and enter your information, and you will get an extra entry into the Big Muff giveaway, the Green Vodka Big Muff giveaway. So yeah, that officially launches on Instagram Friday on the 21st. That's August 21st, 2015. But you can go to tonemob.com/greenvodka and get an extra shot. So, back to the show. And we're back.
Can you hear me?
I'm not sure what happened. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now, are you putting commercials in this thing?
Am I putting commercials in? Not like that. I'm not.
And now for a commercial.
And now for our commercial break, brought to you by McCaffrey Audio.
Yes. Welcome. Yeah, that was bizarre, man. I could hear you. Like nothing changed on my end, and the words that you told me earlier were kind of ringing through my head, like, oh no, I'm gonna have to like uninstall and install and download and.
I don't know. It just must have had a little glitch because I could tell on my end that my voice was being picked up.
Sure.
I could see the little bar there running, but I could not hear you at all. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, great.
Hey,
first big long conversation I've had on it. I've had some shorter 10-15 minuters, but
no doubt.
Of course.
Well,
of course,
that's going to happen to us. I mean, I'm sure this has happened where you're recording something. You got a cool idea for a song, or you actually record a song and whatnot. And then it's like, you're supposed to hit that like arm button for the track, and
yep. I suppose I should actually tell people what happened.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're using a kind of a new application to do these podcasts with, and they apparently have some glitches to work out because we had an audio failure where I couldn't hear Ryan anymore. So we aborted and started a new session, and so. We're back.
We're back and better than ever. I bet you could hear me, and everyone is just laughing at me, and I'm like, hello? Is it Mom?
Well, you know what's going to be funny is I bet it was recording you.
Oh boy!
When I go back and listen to the merged tracks, it's going to be like me going, "Huh, I can't hear you,"
yeah,
and you going, "Hello."
Hey. And leave that in there, please.
I probably will leave that in there unless we sound like too stupid.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna sound stupid, but we don't want to give any more help to each other's stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was making dolphin noises too, so I think I got some good ones in there. Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm excited.
Yeah, now I'm gonna add a bunch of delay to it.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh man, I'm gonna add some self-oscillating tones to that dolphin noise. That's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, and we'll get you a Run Rabbit Run, so you can add like some crazy, vibe stuff and delay, and then like just a big, explosion at the end. So yeah.
You're talking my language now.
Oh, buddy,
you are talking my language.
I'll have to share some stuff I did with another one of my team members and great friend Tyler. Everyone calls him the Dragon. We had a thing called Mother Beef, and we did that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm sorry.
That's
as
great.
you were saying, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what point we got cut off, but I will segue into a question that I'm sure everyone's dying to know.
Oh boy.
What's your dream guitar?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me like how much do I owe him back taxes. That's a joke.
wouldn't
I'm sorry.
want that.
That's a joke.
I wouldn't want that on recording.
Yeah.
We're all about sticking it to the man. Rock and roll,
I mean, well, big time, and Ozzy Osbourne, and no, my
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. Is that one guy with the hair and the guitar? Yeah, I think I remember him.
Yeah.
Dream guitar. Oh boy. We were looking at a private stock today in the shop, one of our retailers, and I think I'm with you, my man. Something vintage.
Mm-hmm.
I had the honor of playing some vintage Gibsons over at Schaefer Audio. Have you heard of those guys?
I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
very cool stuff. And
I can't remember. I mean, that name rings a bell. I can't remember where I heard it.
Yeah,
Name's familiar.
They make the replica. It's that unit. So Angus Young, he plugged into a wireless setup, and
Yes.
they were trying to kind of classic syndrome, he's trying to figure out how the thing ticks, and he got it, and it's really, really cool. But his booth had vintage Marshalls and 5 vintage Gibsons, a 58, a 6, Les Pauls, SG, and I'm like, I said, are these things real? He's like, they're pieces of wood. They're meant to be played. I'm like, holy cow. But I mean, just everything that you read about and you hear about when you play one of those instruments is true. It's butter. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate to sound cliche, but man, there is something about a vintage Gibson. So
I'm a huge fan. So
have you actually played some of the vintage? I mean, because I haven't really played vintage Gibsons too much. So it's,
I'm really fortunate that I actually have a 55 Junior.
Well, what in the world is going on over there? You got all these vintage pieces, a tunnel.
Well, that one's a little bit different. That one actually belonged to my grandpa.
Oh,
I posted it on Instagram a couple times. So,
I'll have to check that out. I was looking at all the fuzz pictures, all the fuzz units you have on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I was drooling over that stuff. So it's actually, I'll have to check it out. A little bit of a backstory, if you don't mind me asking, or.
Oh yeah, it's he bought it from a guy it's a 55 Les Paul Junior, and he bought it in, I believe, the early 60s, around 62, 63 from a guy.
Sure.
That he knew, and he'd had it for years. He played it off and on, but he really played the piano more, and so he ended up kind of just sticking in his closet, and
jeez.
And then in about 2007 or 8, him and Grandma were watching Antiques Roadshow.
Oh my goodness!
And then a junior, somebody brought a junior out, and he's like, "Hey, wait a second, I have one of those." Yeah. And it's in his closet, and I knew it was there. He just said it was just some old guitar. I didn't really know, and at the time, I didn't really know what he was talking about.
Yeah. You're probably thinking it's probably some. Montgomery Ward, acoustic. I mean, that type of deal.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And he also had a couple old amps. That's all he had an old guitar and old amps. And at the time, I was heavy into my hardcore days.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, well, that's cool, but whatever.
I got an Ibanez with a wizard neck. Oh yeah.
No, I've always been a Gibson guy, but
So
yeah,
you never stooped to my level.
well,
boy.
I'm not against it. I
Well,
just never did. So
I was lying about my setup. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
You're running a wizard into 5150.
Yes, and it's neon, of course, and so is the
Of course.
and so is the 5150. But I actually got a solid state 5150.
Of course. Oh,
running into
wow,
a 1x8 cabinet.
well, this is a very interesting development.
Oh yeah.
What color of spandex leggings do you prefer?
Well, actually, it's all right. I'm wearing fishnet. But
Okay.
I'll post pictures on Instagram. So.
All right,
Yeah.
that'll be great. I'll repost for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway, so like a little bit later, then he told me, oh, it's an old Les Paul Jr. And I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. And he pulled it out and was looking it over, and it did the kind of the classic thing where the strings have been on it for a long time, so it pulls the
yeah.
bridge pulls forward a little bit.
Sure.
Not bad.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The inserts needed pulled out and readjusted. And that was the biggest thing. I had a local guy, Portland Fretworks,
Nice.
do that for me. So there's a little thing for them. They did a great job.
Yeah, awesome.
Getting that fixed up for me. And other than that, other than the insert, it's all original. Well, actually, the insert is original. He pulled it out and put it back in with some epoxy. But
Oh my goodness.
a thing just rips. And he
Oh,
also
man.
had a couple. He had a 56 champ and then a 61 champ also.
Oh
and
my goodness.
He was like, well, I don't really play them, so here you go. And I'm like,
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
Yeah.
Grandpa, that's. I'm gonna hit my grandpa up. I'm gonna say, Grandpa, don't you got a vintage Gibson somewhere here? And
he's like, oh yeah, I got one of those.
oh yeah, there's like 10 of them back in the class.
Yeah,
Man,
well, I got this. I got this 59 burst back here, but nothing serious.
I don't really like that red and that yellow type thing. Well, and here's one. It kind of looks like tobacco juice. I don't know. You want this?
You want this whole thing?
Oh, that is killer. I mean, you don't. In fact, we were talking to Arnold from Vintage Guitar, and we were just talking about that. Like, you never really hear that stuff anymore. It's so with the advent of Antique Roadshow and that kind of deal and the internet, it's few and far between that you actually hear stories like that. So it's super, super cool when you do, and get to live it, obviously.
Yeah, it's super awesome. I not just because of what it is, but the sentimental value with it. It's really cool, and
yeah, for sure.
You can see there's really kind of a strange story. So my Benson, back to that.
Yeah.
My grandpa was an upholsterer, and he after I asked Chris to make this amp, and I know that he had made some with that were wrapped in Pendleton wool. Well, I'm a big flannel guy, so I got lots of Pendletons.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to do the same for me. So he tried a couple different ones with materials I picked out at this Pendleton store, and they didn't turn out because I obviously was not picking the right stuff. And so I said, well, just wrap it in your normal stripes. Those look cool. And that'll be fine. I'm not going to have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I was going in the back of my closet, and I found this roll of fabric from my grandpa, because I have a chair that he reupholstered that used the same fabric. So they gave me the roll of fabric. And I was like, oh, this would look killer on an amp.
Yeah.
So I ran it over to Chris, and he covered it for me. And
now,
so
and this is the one that you have up on the Monarch that you have on Instagram?
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's killer.
So
wow.
There's a picture on there back a little ways. I sent it to Chris before I actually had an Instagram page, and he posted it. And I think Gear Talk posted it. Yeah, they did. Gear Talk posted it. This is all before I was ever even on Instagram.
Lance got a hold of it, and he was posting it.
Yeah, he posted it up.
Guy. No, he's a good dude. In fact,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, that super cool.
Yeah, and so I got as soon I got on Instagram a little bit later, quite a bit later.
Yeah, so
and
likewise.
I gotta post my own picture on my own page, and then that was when I had like 100 people following me, maybe. So I reposted it here a month ago, and it's on there, and it kind of actually I know when I posted it on Father's Day.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say it looks like it's about 3 weeks back. And how many followers do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I think right now it's like 4,700 or something like that.
Man, that's awesome.
It's really cool. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm guessing that it's my sparkling personality, but like
I usually go with that. Boyish good looks. Yep. Yeah. All the above.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No.
But we've only been on there. I'm kind of doing this project with a couple other people, but I'm definitely the face and the main guy, I guess you want to say. But
yeah.
We've only been on since March.
Jeez.
March. So
Jeez,
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
I think you have the right formula. I mean, who out there, that's one of us, a humanoid or whatever you want to call us, that doesn't like looking at pictures of stuff like this? I mean, you just get lost, like, oh, Jazz Master and blackface. Oh, and I'm assuming these are your grandfathers. I'm sorry, the folks listening cannot see the pictures I'm looking at on my computer or in my head, but yeah, lots.
No,
lots
I mean,
of cool stuff.
I do a lot of reposting, from other people, just because I only have so much gear, and people are gonna get tired of looking at my 6 guitars over and over again. So I post a lot of other people's stuff just because. Why not?
Well, and I mean, I like your Esteban guitar, and I know it's made out of real wood, but
it is.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing one more picture, but maybe people are getting sick of it. So,
well,
there you go.
It's real. It is real wood. I mean, like real.
Oh man, that and the freaking Keith Urban. Yeah, I'm gonna buy one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Just do it.
Just go for it.
Just do it.
Sometimes you need to treat yourself. That's what I always say at the shop. Men, sometimes you just need to treat yourself. And I know there's money. Jacob, will you please look at the books? I know there has to be money to buy a guitar in there. So,
well, that's tax write-off.
Yeah, and okay, so my son has one kidney left, Beckett, and so I want to sell his other kidney on the black market. I mean,
well, he's not really using it.
Yeah, kids are resilient. Jeez, he's 5.
Yeah, he's got years to grow another one.
Yeah, I tried selling my dog's kidneys, but I guess they don't want them. So, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. You're never going to have me back on the show again, and you're going to get a lot of emails and complaints. And please forward them to jeff@McCaffreyAudio.com. And
all right.
He's going to kill me. Oh my goodness. But
oh man.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna have to have you back on the show again. That's for sure. This has been great, and we've went way longer than I intended.
I'm sorry, man.
But that's I'm sorry.
No,
I said 30 minutes, and here we are. Whatever.
Well, I was planning on. I have a lot of new old stock glass diodes that I'm going through, reading the color bands on them.
Oh yes.
That was kind of my Saturday night here, or whatever day it is. So
that's important work right there. You don't want to.
And it's something I've been putting off. I'm like, I'm going to go through these things, and because it'd be kind of cool to like build I hate to say it, but a fuzz like with old glass diodes and stuff in it. The weird stuff.
No, that wouldn't be cool at all.
No, I mean,
don't do that.
I would probably make it and use it as a paperweight again, but the kids eat them, so it's okay. But yeah, I mean, and then I will stop, I promise. But at some point in time, I got a ton of old transistors, metal can types and diodes somewhere, and I'm just fine. This was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm just finally going through them. So,
right,
and they're like in the original packages and everything. Oh man,
very cool.
Goodness. So, yeah. So, anyways, I'm sorry.
Wow, that's awesome. Are you gonna like do a production thing with that, or
like we're always taught, and I'd love to hear feedback from you, obviously, and anyone else out there. Like, we always talk about doing that. Like, what if we would just do a batch of 10 of these or 25 of these things, and obviously they would be 100%, hand wired. the whole 9 perf board type thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What say you type thing?
Well, last I checked, people really hate limited edition stuff. They like to have the same gear as everybody else.
Yeah.
So that probably isn't going to be a very good thing to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I would just make one and send it to me, and just send it right to me, so nobody else has to deal with it.
Well, we said we were going to at least make 10, so we'll just send you 10 of them. And
that's fine.
I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a clone of the DoD thrash metal pedal, and I'm going to make a limited run of 1,000 of them, and that should sell pretty good. So
I think that'll do well.
Yeah. So all right, cool. Yeah, just shoot me your mail.
Especially if you put like a horrible buffer in it, then everybody will be.
But I thought that's what made the Klon magical. It was the buffer.
Well, I mean, in the it says almost always worse and almost always better on it or something like that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. It's kind of like I'm sure the debate of the nitro and the poly and the nitro and the I don't know, not that I've ever read one of those threads before or 10 million times.
Never. Why would you waste your time looking at things like that?
Yeah, trying to solve age-old problems. So, yes, but anyway, I would be honored to be on your show again, and it was awesome reaching out and connecting with you. And we can forever say that we met on 4th of July via social media. And
yes.
a real American. And if anyone questions that, they're going to get the business end of the Hulk. So, yeah.
Yeah, who's to say that magic doesn't happen here in America on these days,
Like, miracles are done. No, I don't think so.
No.
Naysayers.
And I don't think the Hulkster would agree with that at all.
Well, and I think the magic comes from when he recorded that album, which... I read on Amazon, Our Generation's Dark Side of the Moon, that the budget was for exotic birds like cockatoos and cocaine. So magic is going to happen.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
jeez. Now I'm going to get a call from Hulk Hogan's lawyer for defamation of character, but that's all right.
We can work it. I think we can work it out with the Hulkster. He'll be all right.
Yeah,
we're fans. We're fans.
And any questions, comments, concerns, it's jeff@McCaffreyAudio.com. And so.
All right. Man, it was really awesome talking to you, Ryan.
Yeah, likewise.
Again, we've been talking to Ryan McCaffrey of McCaffrey Audio. He's making some awesome stuff.
Yeah,
check him out. I will have the website for that in the show notes. And until then, as I always say, good luck and good tones.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Blake. Have a good one.
Yep, take it easy.
You too. Bye.
One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.